Happy Tuesday, everybody. Andy and Steve from WagerTalk.com. Welcome to the 2023-2024 NBA preview show to get you ready for the NBA season. We have our NBA best bet and NHL best bet. Those are up right now for today. We're going to be low volume in the NBA, and all these player props will be available on your domestic book. So go ahead and pick those up. What we're going to do is go over some season win totals now that we finally got. This is why we wait till the last minute. You got Steven Adams out for the year. Giannis signs the big deal. Wow, a lot of stuff changing. So we would have loved to have put this out last week, but things changed. So, Steve, let's just get into it. Go grab those best bet guys and hit the like while you're watching this, please, and leave us a comment. Tell us your favorite season win total. I'm excited to see what your guys' favorite win totals are. We've got some strong opinions on those. We've already uploaded them to Wager Talk, so let's get right into it here. We're just going to go through the win totals, and if we see one that we like, we'll talk about it. If we don't have a strong opinion, we'll just move through it. So let's just start here. We're using these on DraftKings, obviously. Steve, your team's up first, Boston Celtics, 55.5. This is a team that won 57 last year. Strong opinion on this team total?
Not a super strong opinion. I lean over, but I feel like I love the addition of Holiday to the team. I think that's a great addition, obviously, from a defensive standpoint. And I just feel like a lot of this hinges, though, on the health of Porzingis. If he's healthy, I think they go over. If he has a year where he misses a ton of games, then they're going to be hard pressed to hit this total. But getting 57 last year, I lean over. Like I said, Porzingis stays healthy. I think they get there pretty relatively easily.
If you get a healthy Porzingis going into the playoffs, and it looks like he's like he's that addition that they really needed. I love this team. I would lean ever so slightly over just because Tatum and Brown play all the time. Drew Holiday plays all the time. I'm excited to see Derek White get an expanded role, but no strong opinion on that one. So it seems like the line is pretty strong, and it's tough to take an over on these high numbers. So, Milwaukee Bucks. So Giannis just signs the extension. So boy, it sure looks like he was like, "Go get me Dame, and I'll sign the extension."
Yeah, right.
So this line is teetering here between 53 and 54.5. This was a 58 win team. And I got to tell you, Steve, I do have a strong opinion on this. I like the under. It was 54.5 a couple days ago, so that's the number that I'm going off of. I don't think Drew Holiday's defense can be understated. It cannot be overstated enough how good he is. He caused so many problems on the opposing team's perimeter, and now you guys, your Boston Celtics, gets that really, really nice advantage. And I'm just not sure what the defense is going to look like for the Milwaukee Bucks here. That's such a massive loss. And now what are we depending on? Chris Middleton? God knows how his knees are. You've got Brook Lopez, who, what is he, 35? And then that's just an awful lot for Giannis. I also think it's going to take a while for this Dame and Giannis combination to kind of get clicking. There's a lot of moving pieces here. I'm a little worried about the depth of this Milwaukee Bucks team, and this seems like a championship team, not necessarily a regular season team. I'm going under on this one, as I don't really know what the hurry is to win a bunch of regular season games. I think this is a team that kind of takes it slow. They've got some issues to work out. They're going to be in some high-scoring games. You want Giannis to be healthy in the playoffs. I don't see the rush to get to another 58 wins on this team. And I could see kind of stumbling out of the gate or hitting some low stretches when they realize that you've got Damian Lillard guarding the opposing team's perimeter, not Drew Holiday. So, Steve, I like the under on the Bucks team. Seems like a team built for the playoffs, not the regular season.
Yeah, I agree with you. I lean under on this one as well. I completely in lockstep with you on the Drew Holiday stuff. Losing him defensively is a big blow, and I'm just not sure what you get out of Middleton this season. I know you may have touched on that as well, but I'm just not sure what we get out of Middleton. So I'm with you on that one. I lean under as well.
Nuggets 52.5. They won 53 games. They lose Bruce Brown. I love that my Pacers got him, but they can fill that void. So coming off a championship run here, Steve. I mean, the books, they're just saying, yeah, we expect the exact same out of this team. Any strong opinion on 52.5?
No, not at all. I feel like, the Suns, we've seen a lot of teams take some steps up in the West, and I'm just not sure that Denver is going to be in any sort of a rush to have this huge regular season again. I don't have a strong opinion either way, but I would lean ever so slightly to the under.
The West is tough. It's it just in a vacuum. If everybody's healthy, which we know it's not, that's not going to happen. But if everyone's healthy, then it's just a tough stretch. It was fun seeing Jamal Murray take that next step. I think he's in line for a big year. But again, in this West, it just feels like everyone's going to be right around the same record. So no strong opinions. Ever so slightly into the other or to the over here. Phoenix Suns 51.5. You can bump this up to 52.5. Steve, any strong opinions on this one?
I lean over on this one. I like the obviously this team is going to be right in the running for one of the top teams in the West, and I do feel like they probably get there. So I don't have like this like I don't have a super strong opinion on it, but I do lean over on it.
Ever so slightly to the under because it feels like if Durant misses any time, this is not a regular season team. Again, this feels like another team that's built to try and win a championship and just try and outscore the other team. I think they're going to hit a wall in the middle of the season with Booker and Beal and Durant. It's not a great defensive team. Nurkic is, who knows what you're going to get from them. So ever so slightly into the under, but nothing strong here. Cavaliers 51.5. I will tell you, I'm a little nervous about this team. It just looks like Donovan Mitchell's not interested in being there long term. I don't think it's a very well kept secret in the league that he's just not that happy. How they performed in the playoffs last year was pretty terrible, and I like their individual pieces. They got to 51 wins last year, but if you get any kind of disgruntled Donovan Mitchell or any type of injury to this team, I think they could be in trouble. I do think that the East is pretty easy to beat up on a lot of these teams. So, like if they were in the West, I mean, this number would probably be 47.5. But I kind of lean to the Cavaliers. It's a strong lean. I can't get to the window, but I'm not a believer in this Cleveland team.
Yeah, after last year's postseason, I don't. Yeah, it's tough to back them with any sort of confidence. I mean, they're going to be one of the. We know they're going to play some good defense, obviously, especially down low. This one is one, man. This number seems just right to me on this one, though. I mean, I feel like you're right. I don't have a, this one I'm really 50-50 on, so I can't really give an opinion on, honestly.
Philadelphia 76ers 48.5. I like this is just a complete stay away in my opinion. This is a team that won 54 games. Obviously, the Harden situation is what's looming over the. I could see this team being dominant, or I could also see this being the nightmare season. And Embiid's like, you know what, it's been a nice run, but I want out of here. So this is just a complete stay away. I have no opinion on this total because you could tell me that this team wins 35 games, I would believe you. You could tell me they won 54 like they did last year, I would believe you. This is just the ultimate stay away.
This one doesn't get my money either. Uh, Embiid, does he stay healthy? What happens with Harden? There's just questions galore surrounding this team, and this is probably one of the that and Cleveland, honestly, are two of the teams that I have the least opinion on out of all these teams.
Well, I know you have opinion on the Warriors, 47.5. We have gotten to the window on this one. Let's talk this play out.
Yeah, I have a strong opinion on the under on this one. We have four key players. Their main players are all 30 plus years old. They all have had injuries recently in the past. They've all had injuries over the course of their careers at different points. Another thing here is their road record last year, 11-30 on the road last year, just horrendous. And while you could see that improving, obviously, they just don't get up for their road games. They're just a different. This is a classic team, just so much better at home than they are on the road, and they're just not going to be pressed like in the past. They're not going to be going for 73 wins like the old school Warrior teams. You know what I mean? So I look at this team and I think that they're going to be happy to finish right around 46, just get a home playoff series in the first round, and they'll be happy with that. So I have a strong play on the under for this one.
Well, you mentioned some players can be hurt. Draymond's already hurt.
Yeah.
He's not even going to make the season opener. Chris Paul, love his game, but this is a guy they're going to have to really, really treat with. They're just gonna have to be very very careful with him. We'll get to a player prop of his. I'm with you. This is an under as well. That road record is startling. And talk about a potential really really nice betting situation. Fading Golden State on the road, especially when we get a few months in, you get those dog days of the NBA season. All those guys that are 30 plus. I'm with you. The unders in the regular season are the way to go with Golden State. Lakers 47 and a half.
I
Yeah,
Go
go
ahead. I'm
ahead.
sorry. I yeah I lean over on it. I think that I don't. I know that they're a team that's going to be in the regular season that's not going to be hard pressed to try to set the world on fire. But I do also think that they've made some nice additions. I like this team this year to if they stay healthy, like everything. Health is so important, obviously, with this, but not as strong as a play, obviously, as on the Warriors. But I lean over on this one.
I guess I do too. It just, Anthony Davis, how many games is he going to play? Like, how many games is LeBron going to play? That being said, I think it's a really good team. I thought they really looked good at the end of the season. And I know it's year, 47 for LeBron. How long has he been in the league? But I'm just not ready to bet against him. I just like bet against LeBron at your own risk. Ever so slight lean to the over because I do think that in the West, because it's so loaded, some of these teams really can't mess around. Like you could miss out on the playoffs pretty easily with a decent record. So I think there's more pressure on a couple of these teams. The Lakers, they won 43 games last year, so it's asking for a lot. But LeBron doesn't want to be in the play-in. That's
Yeah,
just more and
that's
more
true.
wear and tear in the playoffs. So I actually think a team like this might press to have a little bit of a better seed going in there. Clippers, Steve, would you like anything to do with this Clippers team with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard? Because I'll just take the under and say I don't trust those guys.
Yeah, it's a coin flip for me. This is just comes down to the health of those two guys, and then I do like some of the supporting players on this team, but I don't. This is one that I don't. You're not going to get me to the window on this one.
Miami Heat, one of the most confusing teams in NBA history. This is a team that's 44 and 38 in the regular season, and then they become like the third best team in the on the planet in the playoffs. It's 45 and a half. I'm going under on this one, Steve. This is a team that went under this last year. As amazing as they were in the playoffs, they went under this team total. I think last season's just it's a credit to Jimmy Butler in clutch situations. It's a credit to Spoelstra in clutch situations. I just don't think this team is built for the regular season. I think the pieces that they have, Spoelstra's just brilliant when you get into like a 7 game series when he's like, oh, these matchups, we have advantages. Let's take advantage of this. And let's also not forget if Giannis doesn't get hurt in that first series, do we even get the insane Jimmy Butler run? I'm not a. I don't want to bet against Jimmy Butler. I don't want to bet against Eric Spoelstra. But the way this team looked in the regular season, I just I don't see them reproducing that. So I'll take the under on this one.
I'm with you on that. I feel like that postseason run last year probably took a lot out. Took obviously took a lot out of these guys, and I feel like it's the situation where they can't really gain much by pressing to go over this total. You know what I mean? I think that they're going to be happy to be in the play. They're going to be looking to get to the postseason and do their damage there. So give me the under here as well.
Memphis Grizzlies. I made the case before Steven Adams that I like the over. Ja is out for 25 games, but I made the case when you look at the schedule, they've got a perfect schedule. It's a perfect schedule to get off to a good start. Like you want those games without John Morant there. And we talked about Steve how their record with Steven Adams and without Steven Adams, like surprisingly a really really big difference. Like
Yeah.
it was almost like they were better without Steven Adams than they were when they were without John Morant. Like the numbers kind of backed it up. I'm really worried for this team now without Steven Adams. Heart and soul, everyone loves him. Great locker room guy, and he just provides that toughness. And now you're going to depend on some of these other guys to win a bunch of games without John Morant. I think this is a rough season for the Grizzlies unless they figure out a trade to replace that Steven Adams piece. But I was talking about their schedule. They get Portland a couple times. They get Utah a couple times. They get Houston. They get Utah again. They get Dallas a couple times. They get Houston a couple times. Like, if you're going to win without Ja Morant, that's the schedule you want. Before the Steven Adams news, I was like, I like it because Ja's going to come in fresh, and then they can make their run. And now this is a stay away for me.
I'm with you 100%. We were talking about making the case for the over before. I mean, this is a team that we've seen win games without Ja Morant. You know what I mean? So we thought it was a sneaky overplay potentially before the Steven Adams news. But when you look at that, the Steven Adams things affects everything so much that I don't have it in front of me right now. But their numbers just go drastically down without him on the court. Rebounding, obviously, blocks, all that kind of stuff, but it's also winning and all that win percentage and that kind of stuff. So it's a stay away from me now. I would lean under. If you had to take one way or the other now, I would go under with the Steven Adams news.
Yeah, I mean, like, we like Brandon Clark. We like Jaren Jackson. We like some of these guys, but that Tyus Jones loss is really big. You've now got, Marcus Smart and Derrick Rose in the backcourt. This is just, it's a worry. They have injury concerns. I mean, they've had it even before Steven Adams. They get into foul trouble. And yet still they won 51 games last year. But I think with Ja being out and now the Steven Adams news, this might be the season from hell for the Memphis Grizzlies. Dallas Mavericks, I know you have a strong opinion on this one. What do you think about the Mavericks?
So I'm going under strong on this one. Kyrie and Doncic already dealing with some injuries. Doncic hasn't played more than 66 games since his rookie season. The past 5 years, 33, 43, 42, 52, 38. I don't think he's going to get through the whole season healthy. On top of that, they lose Christian Wood, Dorian Finney-Smith, Reggie Bullock. Dorian Finney-Smith was hands down their best defender. Bullock was a good defender. And this is a team that ranked 27th in defense last year. They added Seth Curry and Grant Williams. Those guys aren't going to help them on defense. It's a little bit of scoring, if anything. This is a strong play for me on the under.
I'm with you. It's just you don't want to bet against Luka Doncic, but this supporting cast is rough. And there were a couple of games where there was it was like late breaking news. Oh, Luka's going to sit tonight, and they just would get slaughtered. I don't like the talent of this team. I got to tell you, I feel so bad for Seth Curry. This guy, I think he's a really good role player for what he does, and it feels like he gets put on these teams where it just doesn't really fit with what he does. And I'm looking at him here, I'm like, what? Why? I don't know. I just, my heart goes out to him because I know he was really happy in Philly, and then he gets moved to a terrible situation. And I'm with you. Grant Williams is going to be your big enforcer, your big defensive guy. That's a lot to ask of him. I'm with you on the under. This is a tough ask, especially in the West. So yeah, Steve, I'm locking step with you. Mavericks under. Knicks, another one I know you got a strong opinion on, and this might be our favorite over under of the. I think it's in the top two for sure.
Yeah, back-to-back games with strong opinions. I love the over here. I love this team this year. It's one of my favorite looks of the year. They won 47 last year, and let's just look at before Josh Hart got there, they were 30-27, and everyone knows about that. After the Josh Hart trade, they went 17-8. They only lost Obi Toppin, which I do think that is a loss. Derrick Rose, but they added Dante DiVincenzo. He's a nice player that can fill in for those guys. And I just like the age of these young guys, Barrett, Grimes, quickly, all under 25, around 25 years old. It's a team that's improving. And I just think that their core is still intact from after they made that trade. And they won 47 last year, even starting slow like that. So give me the over here with a ton of confidence.
I'm with you. Our two favorite picks are overs, and they're in the Eastern Conference. And I'm with you on this Knicks team. I kind of like them. Don't forget this, Julius Randle. was playing not hurt. He was downright injured at the end of the year last year, and kudos to him for gutting it out. I love this team. I think they're going to do well in the East. And I believe it or not, the Knicks are they one of the more functional. Like, isn't it weird to like who's more like more chaotic right now, Philly or the Knicks? It's Philly.
Yeah, for sure.
It's kind of crazy to think about. So, like the Knicks there. Sacramento Kings, 44.5. I like this Sacramento Kings team. They won 48 last year. I lean to the over on this one as I do like their pieces. They actually have some pretty decent depth. I think people got on Sabonis a little bit. I think they were rough on Sabonis in the playoffs. Don't forget this guy was playing with a bad hand. I think other players may have sat out and not. I mean, his hand was in bad shape. I don't know. Are they durable enough to go up and win a really physical series? I don't know, but are they going to score enough points to win a lot of games? Yeah, I think so. I'm not going to get to the window, but I do like the over in this one.
Yeah, I don't have as strong of an opinion as I do on the Knicks or the Mavericks here, but I do like the over. I just like the core of this young team, and I feel like it's like you kind of touched on. They're kind of built for the regular season more than anything. I think postseason it gets a little tougher when they start going up against teams playing stronger defense and stuff like that. But I'd say a little bit more than a lean, but give me the over for the Kings this year.
Pelicans, 44.5. This is an under for me. I think Zion Williamson is one of the most dangerous guys to have on your team because he's so good. You just end up depending on him, and that's the worst thing you can do is depend on someone like Zion Williamson. Because once you get used to him being in the lineup and you use him a lot, and then all of a sudden he's just not there. I called this from the very beginning. I'm not taking my victory lap now because I'm still rooting for him. This guy's massively underperformed as far as health goes. He's not in shape. He cannot recover from these injuries. I don't understand how you pull a hamstring and you're out for months. I just think this Pelicans team, they're going to make a mistake and they're going to depend on him again, and it's going to blow up in their face. And I think Zion is the kind of guy that absolutely ruins franchises. I know he's exciting. I know the fans love him. I know his highlights are on, TikTok and Instagram. But Steve, is this guy still that explosive? Maybe here and there. I don't buy the health of this guy, and I think it can be really, really demoralizing. I like a lot of the other pieces on the team. I just think I'm just completely out on Zion Williamson. I hope I'm wrong because I would love to see him have a really good career, but his best days are behind him. His most athletic days are behind him, and I fear like his best in shape days are behind him, and I think he holds his franchise back. Give me the under.
Yeah, I'm with you here, and it's more of a lean for me, but it depends on his health a lot. But last year, one of our best season long player props was the under. It was brilliant to take his under on points last year, and that cash for us based on him, not finishing games, not the injury bug in that big body. Yeah, I'm with you on the under here though.
Timberwolves 44.5. Timberwolves won 42 last year. Confusing team to watch, possibly a trade candidate here. This is a stay away from me. I don't know what I'm getting from this team. Anthony Edwards should take the next step, but kind of comes down to how does Gobert perform? Do they make? I mean, they are locked into Rudy Gobert. I don't see that as a trade asset for them because I'm not really sure who's going to trade for him. So I think you're stuck with the roster as is. I like the talent. I'm not sure it's a great team. Ever so slight lean to the under, but I certainly won't get to the window on it.
No strong opinion here from me. I feel like with another year of Gobert kind of molding together with the team, lean maybe in the West. Yeah, I don't have a strong opinion on this one. I don't have a strong opinion either way.
Oklahoma City Thunder. I believe this is the darling of the
Yes,
NBA
sir.
math nerds. So they have a million assets. They get Chet Holmgren coming back. They have SGA, Giddy. They have both. Who are the names? Their names are escaping me. Jalen Williams.
Jalen Williams, Lindort.
Yeah, Lou Dort. 44.5. Is this year that Oklahoma City starts flexing its muscle, saying this is what we've been building for over the last few years, or is this a team that where Chet Holmgren gets hurt again and they're just back to being a 40-win team? What do you like about this one?
Yeah, I'm kind of on the fence on this one. I think with it being such a popular play for the over, so many people loving this team, it kind of scares me off of it a little bit almost. Is it another year where SGA is, they're benching him on purpose at the end to get to build these draft picks up and stuff. It's a nice young team. I lean over, but it scares me just the popularity of this team right now.
I do too. I know why they're a popular over. Like I get it. Like look at all those pieces. Those guys are so much fun to watch. I'll fall into the trap and lean to the over as well. I mean, let's just like why not? Let's just all lock and step go over, and then when they win 43 games and and go to the under. But yeah, it should be one of the more intriguing, polarizing teams to watch. Atlanta Hawks over 42 and a half. Oh, here we go again with the Atlanta Hawks and the Trae Young experience, and I guess I'll fall into the trap too. I like the over. I like the over. I was very discouraged by how DeJounte ended the playoff run. It felt like he kind of gave up there at the end because I remember you and I had some props on him, and one of them in particular, I think he only needed like one more rebound, and he just looked like he gave up for the last couple minutes. And then on the last play of the game, a ball rolled to him. He picked it up and got a rebound. But you and I were like, the body language was horrible, and I think there was some, I don't know, I think there was some unhappiness. I really like their starting lineup. I love that they signed a Kongu. That's a great deal for them. I kind of like that they got rid of Collins because I don't want to say addition by subtraction, but it feel like they were just kind of their rotation was kind of tough to figure out. I like Capella and Okongwu. I think they figure more out with Trae Young and DeJounte. I'll take the over on this one.
I kind of have a unique look on this one where I'm going to suggest taking them to make the play-in tournament at plus 135. You get some good value there, and you don't have to predict a certain win total. You just have to get between the 7 to the 10 seed, which I feel like this team is built for. We played that last year and we cashed that ticket at plus money as well. And I just feel like Murray and Young, I kind of in my mind have the top six in the East kind of plotted out, except for maybe this. They could crack into that 6 seed, but I think that makes them just good enough to be at that 7, 8, 9 spot. But just bad at they're not going to be bad enough to fall out of the top 10 though. So just give me them to make the play-in tournament at plus money. They just got to fall in somewhere in that range of 7 to 10 in the
You're
East.
gonna have you're gonna have Boston in the playoffs, Milwaukee in the playoffs. Let's just say the Philly holds it together. They be in the playoffs. Cleveland, even though I like their under, they make it to the playoffs. We love the Knicks. I think we both agree that Brooklyn probably falls out of the playoffs. So then you're looking at Atlanta, Miami, Chicago, Raptors, Pacers, Wizards. So it's a very very thin line, and they are of course 41 and 41. They're like the Jeff Fisher of the NBA, just always around 500 there. So I like that look. Someone's going to move into that spot. You got a couple nominees. One of them we're going to get to here in a second. And this is my favorite over. I know it seems like a homer pick, but I just love this Pacers team. 38.5 seems pretty low. This team won 35 games last year. They gave up and tanked at the end of the season. They lost 29 of their last 41 games. Halliburton only played 56 games. I am a huge fan of the Obi Toppin signing. I think they stole him. They got him for free. And it just felt like one of those where New York couldn't figure out what to do with him. And every time Toppin would play, he's like the most athletic guy on the court. And you're going, you can't figure out how to get this guy into the rotation. I like the pieces of this Pacers team, and I actually think they're more built for the regular season than they are the playoffs. They've got depth. Matherin looks good. He got to the line like 6 times a game. I think this team takes the next step. I thought they were really good to start the year, and then health and a lack of defense really hurt them. I love this 38.5, and if we're talking about teams that can make a big jump and move into the playoffs, I think this Pacers team is one of them that'll be fighting for a playoff spot. Love their roster for the regular season. This is my favorite over/under for the season.
I'm with you. I love the over here as well. I feel like I just feel like they are built for the regular season, and that with Halliburton missing some time last year, I feel like he probably, if he stays healthy this year, they'll be in good shape. I like the over a lot, and I think that this is another one you could look at though to go with the play-in tournament. They're plus 110 in that range to for the play-in tournament, and I feel like unlike Atlanta, they probably won't break into the top six, but they're good enough so that they won't fall out of the top 10. I feel like the East is a spot where you can take advantage of this play-in tournament prop. The West is a lot murkier in the middle to me. So teams like the Hawks and the Pacers are teams that I like to take plus money on to make the play-in tournament. Give me the play-in tournament at plus 110 and the over 38.5 wins on the Pacers this year.
Love it. Brooklyn Nets, we'll get to one of the player props in this one. Steve, 37.5. I mean, talk about, is there ever been a more obvious nominee of don't pay attention to last year's record? I mean, this is a team that completely revamped their roster. They lose, the big name guys. This is a team that won 45 games, 37.5. Where do you see the Nets this year?
I lean to the under. I don't have a strong feeling on it necessarily for the win total, but I do lean under. My stronger play for this one, you mentioned it was the player prop for Mikal Bridges. I like the under 25.8 points, 25.8 it's set at. So I like the under here. Last year he cracks it at 26.1, but prior to that he had never averaged more than 17.2 in a season. Now you look at there were 20 guys in the NBA last year that averaged 25 plus points. Between them, they averaged 61.8 games played, and only 4 of those 20 players played 70 plus games. Mikal Bridges is like the Iron Man of the NBA. Essentially, he plays every game. He's built on that, not missing time, known for that, not missing games. And I just find it's going to be very hard for him to put up an average like that over 82 full games, having games where you have bad games where you get pulled early. Those all affect the averages, and that's what you can take advantage of when you talk about regular season props. So lean under on the win total, but strong play on the under for Mikal Bridges, under for points on the season.
Chicago Bulls, 37.5. I don't know why I couldn't get to the window on this one, but I really like the under on this. This team managed to go 40-42. Man, my heart goes out to Ball. Ugh, that's just, I mean, you're looking at potentially a career ender. So, I don't know how much more they can get out of Zach LaVine and DeRozan and Vucevic. I mean, great individual pieces, but it just doesn't seem to be amounting to success. DeRozan is probably a really good trade piece. And if this goes bad for Chicago, they're going to be sellers, and they're probably just going to have to, start over from there. I don't know. I just don't see a path to where they have a lot of success. Okay, when they went 40-42 last year, they made it into the play-in tournament. This team doesn't have upside to it. So I'm going to roll the dice that the Bulls just kind of say, this is, we've maxed out. It's not working. We're not going to be, a threat in the playoffs. Let's try and reset here. So I'm going to use that thinking and say, let's take the under. I guess out of respect to those 3 guys who I think are pretty good players, and I actually think Patrick Williams might be a nice sneaky player prop guy to start the year. I read an article about how hard he's been working in the offseason, and they got to get contributions, but this is a team with very, very limited talent outside of the big 3, so I'll take the under.
Yeah, this is a team that when they originally got this group of guys together that I was excited about, that I thought could make some waves in the East, but it hasn't worked out for them, and I don't see it happening this year either. I like the under because I feel like as the season goes on that this team probably gets pieced out at the trade deadline, and that some of these guys get moved to some of the contenders because they realize that they don't have a shot to win the East. So give me the under here as well.
Orlando Magic, 37.5. I don't know if I know what to expect from this team. I mean, I like all their pieces, but I think this number is about where it is. I have no opinion on this game or this team.
Yeah, it's a nice young team that I don't have a strong opinion on either. I feel like they're gonna have a tough time probably breaking into the play-in tournament. They could, but I don't have a strong opinion on the Magic for this one.
Toronto Raptors, here's another team I don't have a strong opinion on. I have no idea what they're doing. They lose Fred VanVleet. I like the organization. I don't think they do things without having a plan. and I don't know what their plan is, but I'm pretty sure that they do. And just for the unknown reasons, I have no opinion on the Raptors.
Yeah, I feel like losing Van Vliet is a big loss as well. And it's a team that takes advantage of playing at home. They struggle on the road. I don't have a strong opinion on the Raptors. I lean towards the under, but no strong opinion out of me.
I am excited to watch the Rockets. Their new coach will not put up the nonsense that they had. I feel like we missed a golden opportunity to watch Ndoku try and coach Christian Wood. This is a coach that yanks guys off the court if they screw up, and this is a guy that did it for the Boston Celtics. I am very excited to see the dynamic between the coach and the players for the Rockets. It could be the best thing that ever happened to these young players. Like, maybe they get some organization and maybe they just needed somebody to be tough on them. Or this could be a complete mutiny and a disaster. I see so many different outcomes with this team that I have no opinion, but I am excited to watch it happen.
I'm completely with you on that. It comes down to how these young players work with the head coach, right? That's what it's going to come down to. This was a real bottom feeder last year, a real team you could pick on as far as player props, as far as fading the team as well. Yeah, I don't have a strong opinion on it either way, though.
I'm keeping my eye on. We did good on. Believe it or not, we did good on Rockets player props last year
Yeah,
of all
I know.
teams. It was kind of strange. The Hornets. What did we get? 31 and a half. You know what? I don't have an opinion on this over under as well, but you have a pretty good opinion on the a player prop. So I'm assuming that's going to be your favorite play is the player prop on this.
Yeah, I'm looking at LaMelo over 8.5 assists. I Getting Bridges back. We saw Mark Williams break out as a big man last year, and then they draft Brandon Miller. I feel like this really sets up for LaMelo to be even more of a facilitator than he has in the past. I like the over 8.5 assists for this team.
San Antonio Spurs 29 and a half. Victor Wembanyama. I don't know what this team is going to do this year. I actually kind of like Wembanyama under his points total because I just think this season's going to be a long, long grind for him. I think he's going to look good at the start, and I think he's going to fatigue. I think they're going to manage his minutes. There's no reason to push this guy's minutes in his first year. So I think he could lead the league in blocks per game. I think his length is absolutely insane. So we'll see that prop, but I think scoring-wise, don't be surprised if he starts off looking good and then the wear and tear of banging against NBA bodies. And if I had to pick, I would lean to the under on this one because I'm not sure there's a reason for the Spurs to be good this year. But obviously he'll be the most followed player, I think this year. So I like his under points. I like his over blocks per game. But as far as win total, slightly into the under. Will not get to the window on it.
Yeah, you're not going to get me to the window on this one either. With Wembanyama, you just got to hope he stays healthy. That big lanky body, I feel like it just screams that getting an ankle stepped on or something like that down low, which could be a recipe for a disaster for him. And I agree with you completely on too that they don't have a reason to put the pedal to the metal here. They're going to be happy to get another big draft pick and add to the team next year.
Detroit Pistons, they won 17 games last year, and I'm supposed to believe they're going to be 11 games better. I don't get this team. I don't know what they are. I don't know who their best player is. All I know is it says a lot about this team that, Steve, one of our more successful streaks was playing their point guard over his turnovers last year. There is no way this team should win 28 games. That being said, the East has some bad teams in it. They have some really bad teams, and I could see Detroit winning games against the Hornets and beating the Wizards. And what if the Bulls are atrocious? What if the Raptors end up being terrible? It's such a low total. I have to take the under just because I don't think Detroit is 11 games better. This team confuses me. I just don't think they have the identity. I'll take the under. I'm not going to get to the window because I refuse to bet on the Detroit Pistons. But under for me.
Too many question marks for me to go either way. I mean, healthy Cade is obviously going to really help them. That's first thought. But But man, that's such a huge jump from last season for a win total in 1 year. So it's a stay away for me. Interesting to see what will happen with this team, though, if they can stay healthy or not.
Portland 28.5. That should be exciting. They're not going to be able to play a lick of defense. I mean, this team could be in the running for allowed the most points. I'm not really sure what to expect. They got the Ayton with with a different, I don't know, different change of scenery. But how good is he going to be when he goes from playing with Chris Paul and Booker and some of these guys to now he's playing with a rookie point guard running the show. I think this team is really confusing. I think they'll show some real signs of upside. But in the West, I think this is going to be a long, difficult year, and I like the under on this one.
So I have a unique look on this one. I did an article, and I like Henderson here to win the Rookie of the Year at plus 250. It's a 3-horse race. And listen, Wembayama is probably going to win it, right? But it's between
not
that.
if he gets banged up. We talked
That's
about
a good, yeah.
it. Not if he gets banged up.
It's a good point. It's between those two and Holmgren, though. A lot of question marks around Holmgren with the injury and stuff. And then he's also joining a team, where he's going to have to share the spotlight with SGA and Kitty and Jalen Williams. Essentially, Portland trading away Lillard is kind of handing the keys to the kingdom here to Henderson. And he's thrived in the G League, 16.5 points, 5.4 rebounds, 6.5 assists a game. There's some long shots here you could look at Rookie of the Year, but he's the second guy behind Wembayama at plus 250, and I like the value of that. So give me him to win the Rookie of the Year.
Washington Wizards 24.5. This team is awful. I mean, listen. If you're trying to bottom out, they certainly did it. I don't know why they did it this year. I think this organization is kind of clueless. Give me the under on this one. I mean, you're looking at Tyus Jones and Jordan Poole running your backcourt. You've got, Kyle Kuzma, who my guess is trying to audition for other teams. My guess is a lot of these guys are trying to audition for other teams. Under no circumstances do I see this team being good. Can they get to 25 wins? I doubt it. I do like Tyus Jones, but not as a starter, and I don't even like Jordan Poole as a backup or as a starter. I don't know. Maybe the guy. I'll take the over on shot attempts per game. I'll take his over on turnovers per game. This is a really, really bad starting lineup, and the bench is even worse. Again, in the East, I don't want to take too many unders in the East because I think there's some really bad teams, but this has got to be the worst of them.
Yeah, this roster is scary, and there's somebody that has to be a punching bag in each of these conferences, and I feel like it's going to be them. We cashed some nice unders on some of the real low-hanging fruit last season, teams like Charlotte and Houston, and I feel like this team really fits the mold of those teams last year. Give me the under.
Utah Jazz, 35.5. Hate to end with a fizzle. I don't know. This team could be good. I think there's a better chance that they're pretty bad, especially in a really, really good West. They won 37 games last year. I don't know what the identity is. It's a pretty clear pass for me. I don't have a strong opinion on this team.
Yeah, I know. I hate to end with a team that neither one of us have a strong opinion on, but I don't. Yeah, this is one that's really just a stay away for me. I have some other strong opinions, but not on that team.
Okay, let's. You talked about Mikal Bridges. We like that one. You talked about LaMelo Ball, and I will go over my favorite player prop under is a points per game. This is an official play at WagerTalk.com. It is Chris Paul under. We locked it in at 12.5. It's 12.2. I like Chris Paul under his points per game. His role is not scoring on this Golden State Warriors team. His job is to get the ball to Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, facilitate the offense, and just be everything that Jordan Poole wasn't. Be a calming presence in the locker room. Be a professional. And this is there may not be a more important player to save and make sure you're healthy going into the playoffs than Chris Paul. They are going to need him to be the point guard on this team. And I don't see why they would put him in harm's way with overplaying him with minutes. Steve Kerr's no dummy. He's going to protect Chris Paul. And you just look at what he's done in the preseason. He had 6 points, 6 points, and 5 points. I know it's been limited minutes. One game he had 13 points in 30 minutes, but he went 3 for 3 from three-pointers. It's just not his role. His role is to get other guys going. I think he's going to be great for this team, but I just don't see him playing enough minutes and getting enough shots on this team. You've got other young guys that I'm sure they're going to give. They're probably going to need Chris Paul to ask him, say, hey, can you work with Kuminga? Can you see if he can get his head right and learn some of this offense? Are we going to see more of Gary Payton? Are we going to see Moody more? There's a lot on this team, and Chris Paul doesn't care about scoring at this point in his career. It's championship or bust for him. He averaged 13.9 last year, and I just see that number coming down. So my favorite is Chris Paul under his points. He's not a great three-point shooter traditionally, so his role is for assist.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Any more player props that we like here, Steve?
My two favorites were the Bridges and the LaMelo. Usually I'm looking more. I know the LaMelo was an over, but usually I'm looking more towards unders when it's season-long player props. But
we have a couple of interesting ones. Rebounds leader here. Sabonis is the leader, plus 275. Anthony Davis, he doesn't play enough to get there. Jokic, plus 360, and Rudy Gobert, plus 400. I don't have any opinions there. Assist leaders. Boy, when was the last time you saw a center? But plus 390. Jokic is plus 390 to be the assist leader.
Wow.
on this one. And the crazy part is it's not that crazy just because the guy doesn't miss that many games. Halliburton only played 56. I noticed your boy LaMelo, plus 600. If he plays a majority of the games, you could be sitting really pretty on that one.
Yeah, that might not be a bad look, especially. I mean, I like him at over 8.5 assists. That would be some great value at plus 600 there.
3-pointers made per game. I was actually trying to find the made 3-point threes leader. I mean, is Steph Curry parlaying, some of these futures might not be the best idea, but my gosh, Steph Curry, most 3-pointers. If the guy plays 70 games, doesn't he run away with this? He's won it like 7 out of the last 10 years.
Yeah, I love Curry in that spot. You could maybe look towards Lillard here, but yeah, Curry is just going to have taking so many 3-pointers that he should run away with that one.
All right, so let's recap here a little bit. Steve, would we agree that the Pacers and the Knicks are probably our top two games, and then maybe the Mavericks under and Warriors under? Those are our top four, you would say?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, I'd say the Knicks over, Pacers over are our two favorite overs, and then our two favorite unders, Warriors and the Mavs. I give you. I mean, I did do an article on the sixth man award, and I have a plus 1,000 on that one.
Ooh, do tell.
So Norman Powell, last year was Brogdon's award, and I suggested splitting a unit between Brogdon at plus 800 and Powell at plus 1,000. But give Powell a look. I mean, he was third on the Clippers in scoring last year, behind George and Kawhi. So he had scored 17 points a game, a little over 40% shooting from behind the arc. So he's arguably the strongest candidate in the field from a scoring perspective. And for whatever reason, this Clippers organization has just dominated this award. They've had 5 winners in the past 10 seasons. Lou Williams, Jamal Crawford. It even goes further back than that. For some reason, they just dominate this award. I'm not hinging it on that necessarily, but he's going to be on a strong second unit as well. Terrence Mann, Kenyon Martin, and unlike Brogdon, I mean, he's already on a playoff caliber team. With the Clippers are going to be a playoff caliber team. So at plus 1,000 with what he did last year, I'd give Norman Powell a look for the sixth man.
I love the Clippers dominating.
The sixth man award.
Lineup figured out, but we got that bench guy.
Lou Williams, Jamal Crawford over the years, they've won 5 out of the past 10 have been from the Clippers.
Amazing.
It's amazing.
Amazing. So, all right, I think that's going to do it for us, guys. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to grab our NBA and NHL best bets. They are up now at WagerTalk.com. Looking forward to a great NBA season. NHL already 4-1. We're low volume.
Great start.
5 plays, and we're already 4-1. So you can expect the same out of NBA. This NBA and NHL, I'm loving how they're running together, and we're so low volume that it feels like we're just going to be sprinkling in plays from both sports. So you don't need to expose a ton of units on these plays. Just feel like we're on the right track with everything. Love the plan going into the season. So let's get the NBA season started off right. Good luck on your plays. Don't forget to hit the like button, and please leave us a comment and tell us your favorite team total of the year. Love them. Steve and I just broke down all of them, so give us your favorite in the comment section. Good luck on all your plays, and we will see everyone on the road to millions.
Good luck, guys.